Why vote for me? Well, the one central thing that I keep coming back to is that I'm a catalyst for change. I'm not just a researcher, I'm a businessman with commercial acumen. My career has grown in parallel to those changes of the internet. As technology disrupted our industry, I tried to keep in step with it. As a business, we looked at our strengths and embraced innovation and change. We adapted and built new business models and new services. ESOMAR now needs to look inwards and then forwards, taking its great strengths and great traditions and building them into the research of the 21st century, where client-side researchers can do so much themselves, where the disparate voices of customer experience, user experience, data analytics and market research need to come together as one network, one voice to help brands inform better decisions. I would love to be able to get your vote so that we can continue that work and build that future. So last night was quite interesting for me because we ran our quarterly client advisory board. And so I thought I'd take the opportunity to ask them about their views on how trade associations represent them in the research and insights industry. It's quite interesting what they said. You know, they all talked actually more about the Direct Marketing Association, the Insight Managers Association, the Association of Users of Research Agencies, which I suppose as client-side research teams isn't hugely surprising. But they also talked a lot about the need for professional standards accreditations that help mark them out as professional teams and raise the professionalism of what they do. They also talked about the need for content directly aimed at client-side researchers. Whilst they talked about training, the training wasn't so much the training that I did as an agency side 20 years ago at the start of my career. It wasn't about data collection, qual skills, quant skills. It was more about how you land insights in organizations, how you benchmark yourselves against other decision-making processes, how you really improve insights in an organization. I guess it was, on balance, more about insight training than research data collection training. But on reflection this morning, I thought there's probably an opportunity there in ESOMAR to learn from other trade bodies that aren't necessarily even directly connected with the research industry, like the DMA. Several years ago, I was closely involved in the running of the Customer Contact Association, and it was really fascinating to get the opportunity to see how they ran things. They separated out the client side to the supply side quite a lot. Like ESOMAR, they had an annual event, a sort of convention they called it, a bit like ESOMAR Congress. And in that, they had a big gala dinner where they celebrated all of the wins and the successes that people had had in that year, giving out accreditations and awards and things. And I thought that was really important too, because it was a way for them to differentiate themselves as an association. One thing you could do here is learn from other trade bodies through a working group, learn about the opportunities to differentiate yourself, increase connections with other trade bodies as you go as well. 20 years ago, there wasn't a UX industry. Back in the dot-com era, I would do a lot of research on websites, but somewhere along the line, I lost the right to pitch for that work, and we as an industry lost our voice over it. Why was that? Well, personally, I probably became slightly too idealistic over interviews versus doing lab tests. But this week, I decided to catch up with some of our clients who use Insight Hub for user research, interviews and surveys. Their view was quite interesting. They thought that research could still be quite big, quite slow, quite cumbersome. And as a brand, that's quite interesting, quite important, because probably if you're building a website, you've probably got quite a lot of quite small tactical decisions to make week in, week out. Agile and Scrum methodologies probably require the UX researcher to be embedded directly in development teams. But what it also does is remind us that we're a decision-led industry. All forms of feedback are there to inform a decision. I hate to say it, but even an insight is there to inform a decision. It's not the end result itself. The insight has to inform a direction or a decision. That's why we need to bring this back together. We need to restake our claim over all forms of feedback, whether that's CX, UX, research or data analytics. And that's why if you vote for me for ESOMAR Council, I'll work to broaden our industry and as a result, make our member network stronger. Hi, so this week I've been reflecting a lot about how ESOMAR and the research industry connects, how we connect with different parts of the population, those underserved, underrepresented groups, how ESOMAR connects around the world, how the different countries and regions connect, but also how we as individuals connect. As a member-led networked organisation, there's huge value in that connection. But that connection has to be more than just sitting next to each other in a business conference hall. Really has to work at a very individual human level, and we have to derive value from it. So the idea struck me while having conversations was one of having spark sessions. A spark session could be a group of 4 or 5 people who are brought together to talk about a shared interest. They could be registered to discuss shared interests like qual or big data or data analytics. Spark sessions could also be randomly formed, bringing people together from outside of their regular network with people from different parts of the world. The value is in those ideas, the challenges that we face, the new creations that come out of those discussions. A spark session could also be extended to connect with different parts of the participant population to understand how we research them better. So this week I'm at FlexMR HQ and I challenge anyone to find an office with a better view than that. It's absolutely fantastic. Pre-pandemic, we were here 5 days a week. Post-pandemic, we're down to literally 2 days a month. And that's left people like myself worrying about company culture, what it means to be a part of the Fleximar team and how we build knowledge and share knowledge between teams. For that, we've built in a company quarterly meetup where we go off-site. We don't do it here, we do it in a collaborative working space called Fraser House Hub in Lancaster. And in that, we have different sessions every quarter. We've done Strategy Day, we've done Innovation Day, we've done a Community Day. Within each day, we'll have different styles of content session. We've had external speakers, we've had brainstorming, ideation, we've done a company charity walk, social events. And all of those different spaces allow us to get to know each other in different ways, deepen our understanding of the business, and I think that's absolutely fantastic. It works great for us, and I think it'd be my top tip for anybody who's struggling with remote working or hybrid working. Also a lesson for how we network as people. Meeting people in different spaces is really important for networking, so it would be a good thing for ESOMAR conference, for example, as well. But let's face it, all of these ways of working are going to change again, constantly evolving. So if anyone's got any good ideas, top tips, then we'd love to share them. So please comment below, like and share. Thank you.